A new technology barnstorms into an economy, and the government reaches out to the citizens and says, what do you think? Just an open-ended question, what do you think? And people can submit statements, and that's the qualitative layer. And then there's a quantitative layer where people agree and disagree and pass on statements submitted by others. One way to think about this is it's like a survey that's created rather than by the agency. It's a survey that's created by people who are taking it. So the population itself creates dimensions on which they're scoring themselves. And this creates a matrix of every statement that's been submitted by every person who's participating. And that's not a very interesting data structure to humans. To have 200 comments by 6,000 people is not particularly interesting it's not particularly digestible, the number of permutations for humans. But the machine learning toolchain knows what to do with big matrices. And so we take that information and we create opinion groups. And we visualize camps and tribes and opinion groups. And there are a number of things you can do. You can just simply report that back in a more private way if you're on the enterprise side. But if you're on the participatory democracy side, one thing that you can do is you can visualize it. And so that's kind of our the core technology that we've been building to date. And so visualizing opinion groups is interesting because you can show someone how they fall relative to everyone else. So as people vote, they move around in a visualization towards people who voted like they did. And you can see the group on the left here thinks UberX is creating unfair competition, and the group on the right disagrees. You can see the group on the left also thinks that UberX is not operating according to the law, so there are risks. Group on the right disagrees. Group on the right, on the other hand, thinks even if there's taxis in the street, I'm going to take an Uber. Group on the left disagrees. But here's the magic. The magic is that in the context of opinion groups, we can also show consensus. We can also show something that both of these groups agree on. And there's very little opportunity in our democracy or in our public dialogue to say to someone who's across the aisle, yeah, I deeply agree with you on that point. That's something that we should move forward in shared consensus. That's not something that's really emerging from our collective discussions, to put it lightly this week. I think, so here's something that everyone got behind, that regardless of what we do with Uber, we should use this as an opportunity to improve quality across the board. That's a very interesting statement, an interesting qualitative statement that you might not get from just doing a survey, but you can get with AI by putting that out there, and it just turns out that everyone agreed that this is a great opportunity to improve quality across the board.